Hello. Well, I don't know what to say, but I will say that
justice for sale. Nicki Minaj is the latest celebrity to back Donald Trump, seemingly for the hope of a reward of getting herself or a family member out of trouble. Donald Trump, for my demographic that watches this, which is, I guess, over 50% African American, you may recognize many of the black celebrities that have done it, but it's across all the demographics, and it's a really, it's a, more than anything Trump has done, it's a very third world, just blatantly buying justice. Not that it hasn't happened in the past, but they at least kept it, on the low, as they say. So there's been several lawsuits saying that Rudy Giuliani was selling pardons for $2 million, $1 million to him, $1 million to Trump.
The lawsuit also alleges Giuliani plotted to sell pardons for $2 million to be split between him and Donald Trump, who would issue the pardons. Giuliani has faced this accusation before. 2 years ago, former CIA officer John Kiriakou said an associate of Giuliani offered him a pardon for $2 million. Kiriakou was seeking a pardon for his role in exposing the CIA's torture program. He'd been arrested in 2012, spent nearly 2 years in prison.
Interestingly enough, he said that we had to meet at noon because the mayor enjoyed a drink or 2 or 5 earlier in the day, and by 2 o'clock we wouldn't be able to have much of a conversation. So we met at 12 o'clock at the Trump Hotel. It was several of us. It was Giuliani, his assistant, a second person, and my attorney and me. And we sat there and made idle chit-chat for 10 minutes. And finally I said, so, Mr. Mayor, there's this issue of a pardon. And Giuliani immediately stood up and said he needed to use the men's room, and he walked away. And I said to the aide, what just happened? And he said, you never talk to Rudy about a pardon. You talk to me about a pardon, and I'll talk to Rudy. I said, okay, that's fine. And he said, Rudy's going to want $2 million. And I laughed, and I said, I don't have $2 million. I'll never have $2 million. And besides, even if I had $2 million, I wouldn't spend it to recover a $700,000 pension.
Famous black celebrities, rappers that were just kind of oddly pardoned for a pardon is supposed to be, someone committed a crime when they were young and they've been in for such a long time and they've been a model inmate, or
new text message from 2025.
Or injustice, or someone's innocent or something. But both NBA Youngboy and Kodak Black, and I don't have a dislike in them. They got out of prison, that's fine. But both of those guys were pulled off the prison yard. Like, they were in prison serving time. And Trump was like, oh, you can go home right now. Lil Wayne was about to go to prison. Remember, he had already done time for a gun charge. He might have got hit kind of bad for having that gun, and Trump wiped it away. Michael Harry O'Harris. Again, I'm not hating on any of these guys being home. It's just interesting. He didn't pardon any. Well, there's people that were in the Black Liberation Army. They killed police officers. Assata Shakur. There's black radical people that fought against the U.S. government and what in a way that they perceived to be just back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. They didn't get pardoned, and I'm not saying I promote that. I'm just saying look at what he's done and what goes on. It's a country of the money, for the money, and by the money. Not of the people, for the people, and by the people. And that's what we need to understand, and that's our whole culture, and he didn't introduce it. The reason he's the president is because that's our culture. That's just Fendi facts, baby. Did that benefit Trump? Well, in 2016, Donald Trump got 8% of the black vote. Now, when he came back to run again, of course, a lot had happened, and a certain portion of the whites who had voted for him wasn't going to vote for him again. He tricked the Hispanics into like almost, he damn near got almost like even vote with them. But if he had to run again, obviously the Hispanic population probably is not going to roll with him like that. But as far as the black population, did his pardoning of rappers, Michael Harry O'Harris, founder of Death Row Records, he had a lot of time left to do. He did do in the case of Harry O, he did 32 years in the state of California for a violent crime, and then he still had like 20 years to do in the feds, of which he maybe had 7 or 8 years or 12 years. He might have had quite a bit of time left. Because oddly, Harry O, why did he have so much time? Why was his sentence consecutive? Here's something for you to know. If you get sentenced state and federal, if you go do the federal time, almost all states will just count your state time as you having done it in the feds. But the feds want their time. So if you don't agree to go do the fed time, then your state time doesn't count toward the fed time. Harry O, state of California, had conjugal visits. He was married. He was a big deal, obviously, in L.A. Perhaps his prison time, I guess you could say, wasn't that bad. I don't know. I would think I would want to get out first. But anyways, and then, of course, Snoop Dogg bought Death Row and gave it to Harry O. And all that's fine. Just interesting that he pardoned all rappers with gun charges, not anyone associated with any black revolutionary, black nationalism. Not to say that he should, but just something for you to think about. And now Nicki Minaj.
I am probably the president's #1 fan. And that's not going to change. And the hate or what people have to say, it does not affect me at all. It actually motivates me to support him more. And it's going to motivate all of us to support him more. We're not going to let them get away with bullying him and, the smear campaigns. It's not going to work, okay? He has a lot of force behind him, and God is protecting him. Amen.
We saw her picture, her AI picture of her and Trump, and then she went to this event, and she called herself Trump's #1 fan. Now, one thing that gangsters do, and it's why people like gangsters, and it's why gangsters are effective. And when I say gangster, I don't mean a gang member. A gang member is not a gangster. When I say a gangster, I don't mean a drug dealer. I mean only a small amount of drug dealers are gangsters. I mean a gangster, a person who acts as if he is the government, whether it's on a single block or in part of a city, or you might actually be a politician and you're a gangster. They actually, even if they're bad, or they do, if you don't do what they want, they do bad things to you. If you do something for them, if you are on their side, they do reward you. So, to quote Sexy Red, Trump was giving out all them pardons and giving that free money to the hood. Hell yeah, we support him. Now, Sexy Red obviously is the spokeswoman for a very tiny portion of the black population, but she probably represents the thoughts of some people, a few more, a couple million. And at the level of trying to win the presidency, a couple million votes here, a couple million votes there, you can win. So he has successfully cultivated some portion of the black vote, because in 2024, he got 16% of the black vote. Well, he doubled. That's kind of substantial, but amongst black men, depending on the poll, it went up to between 21 and 24%. So between 1 in 4 and 1 in 5 black men voted for Donald Trump. And they have the right to do that. I'm not here to say they should or shouldn't, but These are drastic changes, and it's interesting. So Nicki Minaj is the latest to jump on this bandwagon. And why might Nicki Minaj all of a sudden be pro-Republican? And you need to understand, most of the black population centers where there are lots of black, solid working class and middle class people, most black employment in those income groups are in either industries with unions or they're with the government, teachers, the post office, the military, different big companies with unions, social workers, the police, the fire. Like, in most of America's big cities, the black population actually, ironically, is the infrastructural backbone. They are the people who come out. Well, our neighborhood, my father's neighborhood, the water main burst at Christmas, like around the block. No one had, hundreds of houses had no water. Some guys that came out, I mean, I think there was a white guy too, but it's mostly, Detroit is mostly black. These are union. They work for the city of Detroit. They're in the union. They work for the water department. I'm sure they make okay money and they get benefits. The people like that are the infrastructure of the city. The black police, the black bailiffs at the court, and etc. Those are the people that make us. These on the news, you hear about buildings being built and the football stadium, but that stuff come and goes. It's the teachers, the people that fix the pipes, etc. In many major cities, large portion of the black population that has good jobs, that's what they're doing, those types of things. And those are, the Democrats have always been, the planks of their platform are more beneficial to union, to non-discrimination in the workforce. But of course, nobody anymore has any education, so you let yourself be taught by the one or two articles you read on the internet and you think you know what's going on. But there's a reason that certain groups of people voted for the Democratic Party, is because it did benefit them. But you're free to vote however you want to. So anyways, between 1 in 4 and 1 in 5 black men voted for Trump in the last election for a variety of reasons, some portion of which is him pardoning people like Lil Wayne, NBA Youngboy, Kodak Black, and others. He pardoned some other drug dealers. Again, I don't know of any black radicals that he pardoned. You don't have to. I'm just saying. Who does Nicki Minaj, gonna want pardoned? I mean, even Diddy, even Big Meech was talking about getting pardoned. Who is it that Nicki Minaj wants pardoned? Well, she's got 2 S3X offenders, 2 of the closest people in her life. Her husband, Kenneth Harris, or something his name is. Petty, Kenneth Petty. Now, Petty was convicted of raping a woman at Knife Point when he was 16 and she was 16. He's not a PDF because he was a juvenile himself. I don't know what the details of the case was. Maybe he should be pardoned. Maybe it was some bullshit. I really don't know. I have seen interviews with the woman, the victim, who is now an adult now. She seems damaged by the whole thing. Like, she definitely, and she claims that right now she has a lawsuit going that Nicki Minaj's family is harassing her. On the one hand, they would offer to do her favors, give her $500,000. She turned down $500,000. Nicki Minaj was going to send her daughter a sweet 16 birthday, like Zoom call, happy 16th girl from your girl Nicki. Fuck wants that. They turned all that down. She said she now gets phone calls, emails from people harassing her. Why don't you leave Nicki and her husband alone? But it's not her. The conviction requires the conviction requires that he register as an offender. That's not the woman's fault. That's the law. So he's failed to register in California. They probably don't like, obviously she doesn't like the hassle of, I mean, now your address. So you can always find where Nicki Minaj lives because wherever her husband lives is a red dot on a map. So I'm sure they do a throw-off house, but nonetheless. But that alone could get him violated because then he ain't living in the house, it's the throw-off house. So for them to have him, for a celebrity to be married with somebody that's on the list is a hassle. And then but at least he's out. She has a brother, Giuliani Minaj. He was convicted about 9 years ago, of doing, you know what, to his 11-year-old stepdaughter many times. Her little brother even testified to coming into the room and seeing it happen. His attorney asked for a 10-year sentence, which is a long sentence, but they gave him 25 years, like they found it to be egregious. So he's doing 25 years in, if I'm not mistaken, New Jersey. Either New York or New Jersey state prison. I'm sure that Nicki is paying the appropriate gang members to keep him untouched, which, hey, you should. It's your brother, whatever. I ain't gonna say whatever they did, but like, I will say this. Prison is bad enough. The idea that they let you go in prison and get ragdolled and stabbed and beaten and grizzaped because of what your charge is, you know, you're letting the inmates run the show is inappropriate. Because always remember, some people convicted of that type of stuff could be innocent too. And if I'm doing life because I carjacked a regular guy with a job who happened to stop on the corner of my street and used a payphone, and me and my man shot him in the chest, drug him out, and drove off in his van, who am I to assault you because you're a S3X offender? I'm a horrible person too, and I use that specific example not because I shot nobody in the chest and drug him out the car, but that's the type of stuff that happened on my block. I woke up one morning, I'm looking, it had just happened. A school, like a black guy that was like a third grade teacher, he was using a payphone on my corner. They shot him in the chest and just drug his body out and still took the car. And probably, I mean, if it happened on my corner early in the morning, it's probably some of the guys I knew that hung on my block. I mean, I don't know who, but, you know. So who is a person like that to really have any moral authority over anybody else, even an MOLE Esther? So anyways, getting a little off track there, but so again, I started off with talking about, you know, Nicki Minaj, because she just posted that photo and these black celebrities and its impact on black votership. But of course, you know, this is like going on across all demographics. Of course, it's not particular to African Americans. Trump, an interesting one. Steve Bannon, who's one of Trump's, he ran the War Room. He was one of Trump's, he had him in the White House as a consultant early on. And Bannon got convicted of stealing some money or misappropriating some money that was supposed to go towards building the wall. And then Bannon wouldn't testify in front of Congress about something. So Bannon got a little bit of time, and he started doing his time under Biden. He did a few months in the feds, and he was with some, see, that's the thing about the feds. You can be in there for a short time, or jail, period. Any jail situation. You could always happen to find yourself around some very serious criminals. People that are at the end of a long stretch, or they just haven't gotten into trouble in a while. So Bannon, Trump gets back in office, he immediately gets his people out. The January 6 rioters, one of whom just got murked by the police because he got into it with the police and pulled a gun on him. Another one of the January 6 people, 6 of them have been convicted of child sex crimes. 6 people that he has let out since he's been back in. I think one of them was a January 12th person, or January 20th person. But Bannon was in with this hardcore mobster, that still had time to go, like a real guy. Immediately got him pardoned because that was Bannon's buddy. So he let Larry Hoover, though Hoover, of course, still is in the state of Illinois. He commuted him out of his federal sentence. And I'm not saying he shouldn't have done any of these things. It's just, again, think about who he's pardoning and who he's not, and what he thinks about a population. So he's trying to get more black people to vote for him. He goes and pardons rappers and gang leaders, and it results in higher votes for him. He's not pardoned any one that's considered a political activist. Mumia Abu-Jamal ain't getting out under Trump. And I ain't saying he should. I'm just saying he's not even a discussion of it. He would never let him out. And is the world so different now? I mean, I remember Nas's, sitting on the VI with Mumia, and rappers would rap about him in the 90s. I bet you most of you don't even know who I'm talking about. And yet Mumia Abu-Jamal was enough of a celebrity in black America, and if you just were a listener of rap music in the 90s, you would hear his name mentioned. And listen, the world changes and whatever, but it's just interesting. And then now to Trump's wealth corruption. He has made his family's wealth has gone up by billions of dollars since he's been back in office. A 2025 Reuters investigation, a Trump family earned $800 million from crypto sales in the first half of last year. $463 million from the World Liberty Financial token sale. So foreign people we're going to buy $2 million of your coin. It's like a way to bribe him out in the open, and it's not illegal because he's selling a product. Trump's income increased by 17 times. Wait, 10 million. So Trump's reported income went from about 30 million to 864 million in the first half of 2025. So without The Apprentice and without this crypto stuff, Trump's income is not that high. He has all this real estate, but it's leveraged. It's not necessarily profitable. In Emirati, so remember, in Emirati, United Arab Emirates, these are people that are in the Epstein files, acquired a 49% stake in World Liberty Financial for $500 million, signed by Eric Trump 4 days before Trump's inauguration. The buyer, lieutenants of Sheikh Tahnoun bin Zayed Al Nahyan, United Arab Emirates National Security Advisor. Here's an interesting one. Do you guys know about, if you crypto traders, Binance? Remember Binance? That was about to get in trouble right after Sam Bankman-Fried got his 25 years. Changpeng Zhao, CZ Zhao, who founded it, he bought $75 million worth of Trump's crypto coin when it launched. And he got sentenced to several years in prison for failing to protect or to stop money laundering on the platform. And Binance had to pay $4 billion in fees. He got time for that $75 million crypto bot. Trump pardoned him within a couple months of him getting into office. Justin's Sun investment. Well, there's a bunch of stuff. I will leave you with, I should look this guy up. There's a guy that was a big scammer, like a white Long Island scammer guy, who was doing a long stretch, 20-some years, and Trump pardoned him in this, I think, at the end of his first term. He already caught a fresh case, and Trump pardoned him again. So Trump has stopped. In the sense of, I don't get that riled up about Trump anymore. He's kind of he's just someone enriching himself. Like, he's certainly not a Hitler. Trump is really just he's a very simple guy. He likes attention, and he wants to steal as much money and corruptly grift as much money for himself, his close family, and then whoever supports him. And if you do something for him, he'll do something for you. He has gangsterized the presidency. I mean, this is why people I know gangsters. I know why people like gangsters. If you go along with what they're doing, if you don't cause them any problem, it doesn't mean you have to do everything they want. You stay out their way, basically, and here and there you do them a little favor. They'll do you a solid right back. They'll do more for you than you did for them. And they can have a pleasant personality on the exterior. You know, some those are just surface personalities. Some that's really their personality. But Trump is just blatantly selling get out of jail free and different things. And a lot of it's through this crypto. So you can either do it through wealth, through crypto, or it shows you how valuable fame is. It's so useful to him to even get a couple extra percentage points from one sub-voting group, African-American males. Well, he went from 15% of them to 24%. I mean, that's a 50% growth in the amount of them that voted for him. That's a lot. And, I mean, you can never really totally know what it's attributed to, but he pardoned four rappers and two a gang chief and a drug lord. That's who he feels it's relevant to the black population to have returned to their community. And there's other people he could pardon, but they don't have the notoriety and the name recognition. And to have Nicki Minaj now, he's probably, see, this is great. Now he can try to up his percentage of the black female vote. Because, you know, he talked bad about Kamala. He talks bad about women, period. I don't see how a woman would vote for Donald Trump, period. But now you got King Barb, and her barbs are already online. Some of them saying, now I'm going to vote for Trump because she said it. I'm his #1 fan. And a real gangster like Trump don't got to be told. You know, he probably asked one of his aides, what you think she wants? Oh, well, she got a husband on the sex offender list and a brother doing, you know, he's got 15 left on a 25. See, the thing with her brother, that's an estate. He can't really let him out, but I don't know if New Jersey, it depends who the governor is. He can definitely have the Bureau of Prisons. Well, the president can impact things. He might not be able to get that guy pardoned, but like he can make his time easier in some type of way, right? He can put pressure on politicians in that state. We'll do you a favor if you are easy on him, or just cut his time, because he's already done a lot of it. Just cut it. So he's going to, instead of having 12 left, he's going to have 4 or 5 left. Okay. And he definitely probably can get the Department of Justice to remove the registration qualification off of her brother, I would imagine, or he can fandangle it somehow. He is the president. So there you go. This is politics. What do you have to buy Donald Trump's favor with? You're either going to have to buy one of these altcoins, meme coins, or you're going to have some celebrity to trade. I mean, Kodak Black got taken off out of PC, out the prison yard, and then admitted, I ain't even voted, I ain't even registered. But it doesn't matter. It did the trick. So there you go. Big money, big fame leads to big corruption. Trump 2.0 out-profit American dope.